ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Celestial, the series where I, a free-to-play scrub, attempt to become a Battlegrounds combatant and finish in the top 200 slots of the Gladiator Circuit. Today, we're going to be crossing 100 points in the Gladiator Circuit, so let's get into it. So we're starting off today's matches against A here. I have footage from 3 pretty good matches here, and going into this one, I was a little bit nervous. I hadn't been in the Gladiator Circuit for a few days, and immediately there, you can see that our friend A had treated himself to the Okoye pre-release bundle, and something I hadn't noticed when I made my own video on her was that she's Decay. She's Decay, and I was initially going to ban this Medusa, who is an absolute monster post-buff, by the way, when I believe at the last second I changed my mind, because from experience I really don't want to be on the receiving end of an Okoye Battlegrounds round. So he bans Sinister, Hulkling and Thing. I'd say they're not the best bans, but picking up Titania and Maestro, that's a very strong first round, and I walk straight into a rank 3 Kushala. Rank 3 Kushala. Zemo would have been an interesting draft. Of course, you can't really place debuffs against him, so he can be a very nice defender. Instead opts for Spider-Ham, and I have the option to draft Photon, but I decide against it just on account of his Mantis. Think of that as like a boxer just sliding out of the way of a left hook and not retaliating, just saying, alright, I know your move, I know what you're going to do. And having said that, I draft her immediately after, but not for defensive purposes. On the off chance I need to flip her and use her offensively. So he has an Awakened Maestro, which is a reminder that I really need to get a move on and do the rest of those Karina challenges. Only have 2 left. But here he does draft the Medusa who I was going to ban, and looking at my defenders, maybe she was the better ban, but doesn't really matter. And here is a historic moment. You may not realise it, but this is a historic moment for my account, where this is the first Battlegrounds match ever where all champions in my draft are 7-star rank 3. 7 out of 7. And it's not me, like, trying to do that, but ignoring my opponent's draft. Like, seriously, the best course of action for me, I believe, was to draft 7-star rank 3s, which is huge. Now here, he does have some tactic defenders, so I'm not too interested in placing Kindred on defense, I mean tactic attackers. So Kindred's wasted as a defender, but we're going to use him offensively here, and this is going to give me a nice opportunity to show how Kindred works offensively. Not a lot of people know this, but first off, he's double immune, so immune to the Incinerate and the Poison, so he works in this meta. And how you want to play Kindred is you want to build some power and then use your heavy attack to consume that power, so you can then build your Nightmare charges a bit more quickly. You can see he's gaining 2 and he's gaining them faster instead of 1 and slower. And now he's in Outbreak, I can lock in my passive degens with an active degen that I get on my L1. Here I throw it again, and this is a rank 3 Maestro, by the way. This is about as thick as rank 3 Maestros get, or indeed Maestros of any type. And you can see he's already down below 30% health, he's down below 25% health, I'm locking them in again, and that DOT is going to stick. It is going to fall off here. Alright, I'll be the first to admit Kindred's not an offensive masterclass. And here we're just going to get the glancing and the energy damage, and that's a little bit annoying. But just bait the L2, punish back in, and he goes down in just over 48,000 points, which is very respectable for an Awakened rank 3 Maestro in this meta. I'd say he's definitely top 5 options. Maybe top 3. Depends on how consistent you are with Titania. And yeah, Medusa does very well. Okoye for sure would not have been able to do that, but Medusa comes out with just over 46k, but it's enough to secure the round. And now I have a bit of a choice. I have 3 defenders I can potentially place down. I can place down Deathless Thanos, I can place down my own Maestro, or I can place down a Tuma. I think ultimately I'm saving a Tuma for round 3. That's my end game. Or Deathless Thanos, rather. So I could place a Tuma here, but I'm going to place Maestro. Always a chance he just wrecks a tumor with an onslaught. And here he places... Ooh, who does he go with? Spider-Ham. Okay, I wasn't expecting Spider-Ham, I was expecting Photon, although he's probably saving her for a knockout blow in round 3. And this is going to be interesting. We have Kushala versus Maestro immediately after Kindred versus Maestro, and my Maestro's unawakened. So she's going to have it easier than Kindred had it as we enter the fight with an intercept. Of course, when we get parried, we just go... what's it called? We go invisible? It's not invisible. We phase. Untouchable, that's it. We go untouchable, so there's no risk in doing that. I take some power sting damage at the start, but it's barely anything. Now the taunt is going to be slightly irritating, but when I enter Pure Light, it's really not going to matter. We're hitting another L1. Thankfully, he's cooperating, immediately throwing the L1 so he doesn't gain too many spider nonsense. Not that he would be able to evade anyway, but you just don't want those power stings placed on you. They are very annoying, as I get a notification. Throwing another L1, and just trying to get these hits in before the taunt reapplies itself, because it is quite a powerful taunt. But Photon hits hard enough that she can, well, she can survive. She still has respectable damage even with the taunt, and he's down. He's down in a minute. It's going to be just over 50,000 points, and I'll tell you what, Kushala does not have a response. Which leads me to the obvious conclusion that Kindred is the GOAT. He's 10 times better than Kushala. If you get Kushala, just delete your account. She's obviously mid. This guy's invested Sig Stones, he's invested rank up resources, and look, she can't even take down Maestro. The matchup she was designed for, she's so damn mid. I'm kidding. Anyway, looking at round 3, it's actually quite interesting. I don't think I'm winning. I think I'm completely lost here. Because... is that right? I'm not sure. It's him to place first. If it was me to place first, actually, it would have been interesting. I think I'm actually winning with Deathless Thanos. 35,000 points, Kushala mid. Mid champ, for real, forfeits. Delete your account if you get Kushala. Don't know what to say, mate. She's just too mid. Anyway, yeah, I think as it was him to place first, I think I would have won with Deathless Thanos on defense. But anyway, let's move it on. So this is a clip from the second match that I played in my little session today. And in round 3, I decided to troll him because in the very last draft, he re-rolled away from some very appealing both attacking and defensive options towards America Chavez for Maestro. And she just can't do that fight. In fact, she just doesn't work in this meta. She has no immunities. She just gets melted. It doesn't matter if it's a stable matchup or a worse matchup. So I just decide to troll him, because I'm going to use Onslaught for this anyway, and he can't use Silk for Mantis, so he has to use Chavez. I'm just saying, well, you're not going to beat me anyway. I just find that really funny. But this is an impressive match. This is a very impressive match from Onslaught. He can do this, rank 3, Sig 200 Photon, better than 99% of champions. I think if you're not Crossbones, Onslaught's going to have you. Or Kingpin. So here baiting her L2. So a nice thing about this matchup is obviously the Incinerates ramp up my Neuroshocks, although it also ramps up her Pure Light form, but that's alright. Other nice thing is I can just parry. Here I'm just waiting until the moment after the stun expires so I can get the extended pause. But even if she did hit me, sorry, even if I did hit her in her untouchable, it wouldn't really matter. And Onslaught goes to work. Down below 30% health. She throws her L2. Not going to mess around here. Straight back in. She's going to die. Full 5-hit combo. And Onslaught takes it down in just over 49,000 points. Rank 3, Sig 200, and Chavez. And he forfeits. I would too, to be fair, because that's cruel. But anyway, let's move it on. So this is the final match I have for you today. It's the match that ultimately gets us to 100 points. So starting off the draft with Count Nefaria. I don't like Count Nefaria. We don't get on. I've said that multiple times. But my opponent picks up their own Count Nefaria. And here I decide against my Maestro, instead picking up Nick Fury because I was afraid of his Mr. Sinister, and I walk headfirst into an Awakened Penny Parker, which is just fantastic, and my opponent ignores it! Hard counter to Nick Fury, passed aside. So I pick up my own Penny Parker, also Spider-Ham. And he gets her again! It's like the computer wants him to win, like, go on, take her, she'll win for you, go on. And he's just ignoring this. It was very, very annoying. As he takes Medusa, which is fair, and then takes Deadpool X-Force, which is less fair. He obviously intends him as a Nick Fury counter when Penny is far, far superior this meta. Nice opportunity to draft a rank 3 Photon, and also Kingpin, just to beef up my offensive capability, and my opponent takes Jack-O-Lantern for Onslaught. So, that is the drafting done. And again, here I dropped Photon. I was feeling very comfortable. I think a common theme in these matches was actually I never really felt under threat, although speaking of threat, that's a Sig 200 rank 3 domino. And, you know, despite these challenges, you know, tough fight against Photon earlier, I never really felt that I was under tremendous pressure or at risk of losing, which was nice. It's a good state of mind to be in. Starting the fight with a light attack intercept. Go for a parry. Haven't been crit failed yet. If I do get crit failed here, it's going to be for like 5% health or something stupid. Yeah, literally is 5% health. And I go for the L1, but my power drain gets failed, so I only have 6 of my Spider Sense charges. Going back in here, throwing the relic. That doesn't get crit failed, which is nice. And this fight has the capacity to be like 49k, 50k. And so far I haven't taken any damage as I go down to 80% health. I haven't taken any damage that isn't crit fail. Throwing the L2 when she's not lucky, and 8 out of 9 of my Incinerates stick, which is good. But I do get crit failed again, and I'm down to 70% health now. Below 70%. Get another parry in there. Throw the relic. Another medium will finish it. And I'm down to 65% health. And every single bit of damage that I took in that fight was crit fail. I think everything else was taken by the Sync Shield, and I have less than 45,000 points. That's mad. All the more incentive to sig up my own rank 3 domino, currently Sig 50, who is respectable, but not as good as that, evidently. Now, Spider-Ham versus Photon, I do leave my opponent with a bit of a window to snatch round 1 away from me, given that score, but Spider-Ham versus Photon in this meta, yeah. You want to be pushing the opponent above 2 bars of power with Spider-Ham, and that's not really an option against Photon. And in Pure Light, even with his special attack resistance, he's going to be taking a lot of damage. Alright, so it's my opponent's turn to place, and he doesn't have any traditional OP defenders, but he does have a few dual threats I think he can flip. I think I see Medusa, I see Mr. Sinister, Count Nefaria. All potential options and fights I may have to deal with. It goes Mr. Sinister. And here, I just want to simplify into an endgame, into a round 3 where I'm winning. So, I drop Onslaught, get the hard counter out the way, see how Jack does. And I think I just use Count Nefaria here, just get him out the way. And this isn't a throw round per se. I think I do have, well, I shouldn't have a shot here. But we'll see how good this guy is at playing Jack-O-Lantern. But we're just simplifying into an endgame where I think I'm going to win. And here the AI showcases its inhuman reflexes, parrying my heavy punish. It's going to do the same thing here, but throw an L1 instead. I just about get out of the way. Here, throw my L1. I'm not even going to get into Ionic Overcharge, which is really annoying. I just, for some reason, whenever I play Count Nefaria, it just doesn't go very well. We're going to get in now, though, but only just over 100 charges. And now I'm going to get my act together and start actually evading these L1s, which is what you're supposed to do. And we're applying some energy vulnerabilities, which is quite nice. And I'm only really going to get 10 passive Furies here, which is annoying. And, okay, that's not great, as he shrugs my Incinerate. But if every other hit wasn't a crit, then maybe we would have had more success here. For the first time, I find myself begging my champion not to crit. And I am definitely behind schedule now. But my opponent has 14 of those energy build-ups, throwing a 5-hit combo into an L1, and I now have 130 my overcharges. Just going to bait another L1. 3 energy vulnerabilities. I just keep critting, which is really annoying. Luckily another non-crit at the end. More non-crits, come on, 11k mediums, that's good. Right, going back in here. I probably should have just gone for the L2, I'll be honest. Instead, I think we bait an L2, and now I'm concussed, I can't really do anything. And instead of just going for the L2 with 5 Furies, I throw the L1, and I don't think I'm going to get an opportunity to finish this. Going back in. Yeah, we get the SP2 off, but... Right. Nice crit at the end. Not enough. And only just not enough. Jack-o'-lantern finishes with just over 1,000 points more, and I'll tell you, I was kicking myself. Finishes with 66.6% health, and make of that what you will. But here, I think we're in round 3 where I was feeling very secure, very confident. So throwing Nick Fury down on defense, and my opponent is going to have to suffer the consequences of their bad drafting. He has a choice here, Counter Fairy or Medusa. Although actually it's probably better to use Medusa offensively here, but goes defensively. I have a choice. I think ultimately Spider-Ham is more secure with a decay tactic, and here he goes Deadpool X-Force. Right, I understand the thought behind this. He's decay. He's a counter to Nick Fury, but he has no natural debuffs. He's a decay attacker that only works with the Sugar Pill Defender. Unlike Spider-Ham, who has his own debuffs. So he's just going to get melted by the Hazard Shift. So I was not worried about this at all. And I'll be honest, at the time, I think I'd completely forgotten how to fight the newly buffed Medusa, because I thought it was the old rules. So in the old rules, she gained like 2 permanent Furies, and then a 3rd temporary one, and then when that expired, she lost all of them, and then she ramped up again. And while that 3rd one was on, she could auto-block. And I thought that it still worked the same. So I thought here she had 3, and you can see I'm really scared. But I thought she would auto-block me, when in fact, I think it just goes up to 5 permanent now. And then the 6th one temporary, and it goes down to 3, but she can only auto-block on the 6th. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. She's dead, just under 50,000 points. Spider-Ham was punching down there, but now I think I've figured out Medusa. I would be having a considerably easier time. Just waiting for my opponent to come through, and that is just about all I have for you today. Some 3 very good matches there as my opponent comes through, just over 40,000 points, and immediately forfeits. Again, I would too. Very clean wins, and over 100 points in the Gladiator Circuit now. So currently, at the time of recording this, I am in Celestial 6. I am nowhere near the top guys, who have like over 200 points. But I probably should push forward off camera. Yeah, I haven't done this in a couple days. But feels good to get back in there. And if you have made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.